Well, Happy New Year to you all. It's the 2nd of January, it's quite early in the morning, and it is incredibly mild. In fact, all I've got is this nausea on and a t-shirt on underneath. No coat today. It's incredibly mild. It rained very hard last night as well, so consequently everything's very wet, very damp, very muddy. Got a couple of bits here to cook up for breakfast, which I'll be having in a minute. I'll be turning the camera off for that. I'm going to settle down, excuse me, have a cup of tea, a bite to eat, then I'll be back. And just some thoughts, a story, and we've got some new kit. Got another brew here, and packed most of my kit away. Having said it got me on mild, it's actually chilled off a little bit. Now the sun's up, it's actually got a bit cooler. I hope you all had a very good Christmas. I know I have, and I had a wonderful time. I treated myself to a couple of bits, a new belt and a new pocket knife, which I'm going to use primarily for food preparation. And you see my pocket, I shall get it out and show it you. Got some great projects for myself lined up for the new year. I've got a couple of weeks off in a few weeks time, and I'm going to try and spend at least 2 nights out. You know, either whether 2 nights in rolling, 2 nights together, or 2 separate nights, who knows. It's been great, We've got a lack of snow around here, and just sort of typical southeast England really, cold and damp. But, we can't have everything, this isn't Canada. Canada, different type of snow, same in Germany. Sepp, Steintanz, or Tim, started to snow out there for you, and it's nice. A few competitions coming up in the year I'm going to devise, sort of practical things. I'm trying to get away from gadgetry. I'm going to try my best to get into the craft side of bushcraft. Too often, and I see this so many times on these YouTube channels with other people, that they're tied up with gadgets, and it's basically what I call camping with benefits. It's not bushcraft, it's camping with extras. Bushcraft changes with your environment. I live in basically southern England. If you draw a line from sort of southern Essex right through to Dorset, to Poole or thereabouts, that is the most densely wooded part of the UK. We've got an awful lot of woodland here. Most of it's private, and it's, if you're discreet, keep a low profile, you're okay. One of my sort of goals for the year is at least once a month light an open fire. I want to do more fire by friction. To that end, I'm going on another course, which is advanced fire making. It goes beyond the bow draw and hand draw, and uses things like fire saw and sort of fire plough and what have you, and also fire management. I'm pretty good at my fire management. I'm looking into using the upside down fire lay, where you can keep the fire going longer without it having to be attended all the time. As I say, that's one thing. Another thing is I bought a new tarp. Well, actually I went into B&Q yesterday. I bought a tarpaulin. It's blue. It's not a bright blue. It's sort of like, it's very similar to this sort of blue. It's 4 metres by 5 metres, and I'm going to look to maybe getting a couple more and try and making a teepee out of one. Making a tarp teepee. set very similar to the one that Ray built and his team built on our journeyman course. Anyway, I'm burbling on here, and in my pocket, if I can find it, oh dear, here we are. One of my sort of last purchases of the year was this little darling. It's a reed green in colour K55 knife, made by Mercator in Germany. It's stainless steel, it's a folding knife, so it's not bad, and I'm going to use it primarily for food preparation. From a cross-contamination point of view, it's always best to keep a knife set to one side for food prep. This apparently is very handy for dispatching rabbits and pigeons. Stainless steel is great. I can take it down the coast with me, it won't rust up. We often make a big thing, us bushcrafters, about the differences, well I don't, about the differences between carbon steel and stainless steel. Carbon steel is very good for keeping an edge, and stainless steel is very good for not going rusty. Now, if you intend to do a lot of bushcrafty stuff and a lot of foraging down on the coast, which I intend to do sometime during the year, a stainless steel knife is far better. I've still got my father's old filleting knife indoors, which is stainless steel, and that was made somewhere in the mid-60s, and it's a really good piece of kit, made by a company called Normark, obviously in Scandinavia. Excuse me. I'm going to experiment this year in, as I said, in fires, do more craft stuff. Often we focus on camping out, building a big fire, you know, got to build a big fire, but you don't have to. As I say, my fire making is going to be down to about once a month. Other than that, I've got Trangier stoves. I'm experimenting with making a few other types of wood burning or developed stoves from using the soda can. There's some very good videos by a guy called Jungle Crafty. Look them out. Just type in Jungle Crafty on the search bit on YouTube, and you'll find him. Very, very wise, very, very good man. He lives out in Malaysia, and all his bushcraft and all his sort of techniques are designed around the jungle, but you can see how you can transfer some of this over. As I said last year, I want to get more into storytelling. I want to tell you stories. You know, we're sitting around the virtual campfire, the campfire of YouTube. We wander out and we look around, and we try and convey our ideas. You know, bushcraft is very much of the area, as I've said. You know, if you're in Canada, it's slightly different to what it is here. And again, you know, you go to Germany, again it's different. Southern Africa, totally different. Amazon jungle, different again. And of course Malaysia, different again. Each environment has its own set of skills. I'll be going through my charts again. I'll be revisiting different aspects, how I set my camp up and how I intend setting camps up in the future. Maybe demonstrating some meat smoking during the year and experimenting with that, and of course doing my beadwork and my jewellery work and making various things. At the moment I'm in the throes of making a beaded hat band like this, not this particular style, for Sandy. Just got to get me loom together, and also making some chopper mittens out of an old sheepskin coat. I've got the mittens cut out, just got to stitch them up. More foraging this year, but then again, I'm just burbling. So, it's story time. Now, I collect mini stories, you know, I can't keep them all up here. You know, I would love to be able to read a story, have it up here and convey it. But, you know, I'm going to do 2 stories today. One's from the Inuit tradition and one's from the Pitt River story. Now, ravens are seen in different cultures, are seen slightly differently. Bringers of light in the First Nations and Inuit cultures. For us, they are birds of death. The bird that Odin had two ravens, Hugin and Munin, and they would go out, fly out every day and bring back news of the world and what's going on in the world of men. But I digress. From the Inuit culture, short story, the owl and raven. Owl and raven were close friends, but one day Raven made a new dress, dappled black and white, for Owl. Owl in return made Raven a pair of whalebone boots, and then began to make for her a white dress. When Owl wanted to fit the dress, Raven hopped about and would not sit still. Owl became very angry and said, "Look, I'll fly over you with a blubber lamp. Don't jump." Raven continued to hop about. At last Owl became very angry and emptied the blubber lamp all over the new white dress. Raven cried, "Quack, quack!" Ever since that day, Raven has been black all over. There are many, you look at all the cultures in the world, you know, Aboriginal cultures, various African cultures, Indian subcontinent, Chinese, European, Scandinavian, Russian, Native American, First Nations. Each has a story on how mankind was created. And again, if you look at the stories, they are of their area, you know. There's some wonderful stories in the Celtic tradition which I will read during the year, and they're great, you know, especially the gaining of knowledge and the tree of wisdom. Again, you know, you've got Saxon's tales are very similar, but this one from the is a Pitt River story, and it's the creation of mankind, and it involves a coyote and a fox, some service berries which are quite tasty after you let them blip. So here we go. Silver Fox and Coyote lived together. Silver Fox gathered some service berry sticks, whittled them down, working all night. The shavings were made into common people. The finished sticks were to be warriors and chiefs, and about sunset the next day he was ready to make them alive. They turned into people. The Silver Fox sent them away in one direction and some in another, and then he and Coyote had a big feast. But Coyote too wanted to make people, so he did everything he'd seen Silver Fox do. He gathered some service berry sticks, whittled them down, working all night, and about sunset the next day he was ready to make them alive. They turned into people, but right away Coyote ran after some of the women, and after a long chase caught them, but as soon as he touched them they turned back into shavings. This is a sign of bushcraft, I think, it's often forgotten, this storytelling, and I hope you enjoyed those couple of little stories. I say, I'm going to pack my gear up now. I'm going to take a wander back home. I've got some bits to do and I've got some things to get. Be good out there. I hope you enjoyed my little tales. More to come. It's going to be a good year for all of us. And what would be really good if some of us could meet up. You know, obviously, you know, it'll have to be some English guys. Oh, Mick, good luck with your tracking. It's a difficult thing to do. It's surprising how hard it is on the body, the mind, and particularly the eyes. It's not easy, but it's good fun, and you'll learn a lot more about what's going on around you. Well, the fungi season is sort of stepped back a bit. There's only like the wood bluets and field bluets that are still kicking around, plus a couple of other smaller varieties that I'm not too sure about. And I'm going to finish my tea. I'm going to pack my gear up, get home, and warm my tootsies. I think they're feeling a bit cold. And get out of the damp. Oh, to be in England now that summer's here. And a bright, happy, prosperous and wonderful new year to you all. Prosit Neujahr.